Hi, I'm Charlie Steeds and I'm a writer, director, producer and cinematographer. My films are Death Ranch and An English Haunting, and coming out this year, Southern Nightmare. And these are my picks. Right, let's begin. There we go. Okay. Salem's Lot.
Stephen King, the best-selling author of Carrie and The Shining, takes you on a startling journey to Salem's Lot.
My introduction into horror movies as a horror fan was through Stephen King miniseries, like specifically the miniseries. I love that you have to spend an hour or more getting to know the people in the town before you get to the horror. I love that they keep the vampires for so long later into the film. It's a Tobe Hooper film. Obviously, he's really well known for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I think people sometimes think of Tobe Hooper as maybe a one-trick pony, but I think this is such a different film to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it shows such a different style and such a different, more varied way of like scaring the audience. It's still scary now, and I think Tobe Hooper is amazing at crafting a really terrifying villain, because the vampire in this, Barlow, is one of the most terrifying faces in horror movies, as is Leatherface, like one of the sort of primal designs of a horror character that still actually can scare you. So I really think Tobe Hooper had a knack for that. For my second pick, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. The Buzz is back. Directed by Tobe Hooper. Another
Tobe Hooper movie. I have been able to work with the lead actress of this film, Caroline Williams. She was in one of my movies. And she kind of, in real life, kind of is quite similar to her character Stretch. She's got an amazing sort of Texas charm and she's a very funny lady and she's a very funny performer. She's just a joy to have around. So it's been great working with Caroline. I think she does an amazing performance, especially in this movie, because same with the first Texas Chainsaw, there's so much energy that goes into a performance of a leading actress in a horror film. It's just non-stop, every scene screaming and crying and running around. And as a filmmaker, I know how taxing that actually is on the actresses. So Caroline does an amazing job here. She's an absolute scream queen. Tobe Hooper, I think he does, again, like subverts expectations with this film, because it's nothing like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1. It's so colourful, it's like a sort of carnival coloured horror movie. Definitely a huge inspiration on House of a Thousand Corpses and Rob Zombie. Like that Rob Zombie style seems to be really inspired by this movie. So it's a very important movie and sometimes a tad overlooked compared to the original. Keeping on the subject of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films is this release, Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. Well, when I was, I think I was about 12 years old when this film came out, so this is probably one of the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre films I saw. When I actually saw Texas Chainsaw 1 for the first time, I was kind of a little disappointed because I'd already seen The Beginning, which I love, by the way. I think this is, aside from 1 and 2, this is the best sequel. And I think a lot of people of my age actually feel that way and really feel a love for this movie. This was a time in horror filmmaking where you had, you know, the Splat Pack and the torture porn movies. Texas Chainsaw 1 is not really a very gory movie at all. And The Beginning is super gross, super gory, and it was this era of horror that was really graphic. And we're starting to see a comeback to that sort of era with Damien Leone and the Terrifier films. I think they've changed it. Even myself, the studios that I make my films for, they've told me for the last sort of almost 10 years, don't use gore, you can't have, you know, this much guts and blood, it can't be graphic. Well now, since Terrifier 2, everything's changed. So I'm hoping we're coming back into an era of super violent, gory horror like Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. What else am I gonna talk about? This is Lucio Fulci's The House by the Cemetery. I'm a huge, huge Lucio Fulci fan. The gore in his movies, as we were just talking about gore, I mean, the gore is, no other director does it as well as Lucio Fulci does it. The blood spurting, I mean, still now, the effects are super, I don't know if I'd say realistic because they're so exaggerated, but they're super effective. I've actually been to the house by the cemetery in real life. I was in Boston and went and actually found the house with my filmmaker, writer and actor friend David Lennox. We took pictures outside the house, but we also wanted to go in the house, which I'm a bit more, respectful, but David really wanted to get inside the house, so he was actually knocking at the door, and they did actually answer and give us a full tour inside the house, which they didn't use the interior of the house in the actual film. But we spoke to the owners about the house by the cemetery. They had a vague knowledge that horror films had been made in the house, but I don't think they really understand what sort of a ravenous Fulci fan base there is. When I was a teenager and I first sort of heard about Arrow, the Fulci films and I guess, the Mario Bava films and the Dario Argento films, three absolute hero filmmakers of mine, Arrow introduced me to a lot of these movies. When I bought House by the Cemetery, I realized I'd actually already watched House by the Cemetery, but my version was so, it was imported from America, it was so cut to pieces and the gore was gone and it was so scuzzy and it was framed incorrectly. You didn't see Fulci's amazing anamorphic cinematography. When I finally got to see some of these films on Arrow, it was like, it's the release that actually made me fall in love with these movies and made me really appreciate them. So people who maybe younger than me who don't realize, you're so lucky to get to see the films presented in these versions, because, I had to import stuff from here, there and everywhere, and you never quite knew what you were going to end up with. And now to have all of these Italian classics in such nice editions is crazy. And my bedroom as a teenager was just Arrow central. The movies, they come with the posters. That was what covered my bedroom walls. And it was like maybe my first interaction with a distributor, where it felt like they were kind of curating these amazing movie nights for me, because I'd actually never heard of all of those early films. Silent Night, Deadly Night, The Deadly Spawn, all of this stuff, street trash. I was seeing it for the first time. So it was kind of like having a friend showing you all these awesome horror movies, and I had never had that sort of relationship with a distributor before. Let's have a little look. I have to talk about
Phantasm.
This box set is probably like my favorite box set I actually personally own. I love the Phantasm franchise. I have nice previous editions of it, but I just think this box is so spectacular. Not to mention that inside it you have the Phantasm sphere. I'm going to talk actually specifically about Phantasm 3. I love 1 to 4, but Phantasm 3 I think is the most rewatchable of all of them. Maybe again is one that gets slightly overlooked, and I'm a huge fan of the character in the third film, Rocky, played by Gloria Lynn Henry, and so I pursued Gloria to come and work for me in my new film, Southern Nightmare, which she did. So I actually last year got to spend a couple of weeks with Gloria in Georgia and Tennessee, making movies together and obviously hearing all of her tales of Phantasm and Don Coscarelli. She has an amazing pride for the character in the series. Much like Caroline Williams in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, it's amazing how these actresses speak with such admiration and respect for the directors and the creators of these films. It's really inspiring to hear as a filmmaker what an impact these horror filmmakers have had on these actresses' lives. But yeah, I absolutely adore the third film, and I adore this set from Arrow. While I'm up here, I just want to shout out this release from Arrow. But specifically the film
Arena.
Because when Arrow have ever put on social media, what films should we release next? There's this crazy little Charles Band Empire Pictures movie called Arena, which is in this set, and it's just, I just love this little movie. It's full of all sorts of quirky, kooky practical effects. It's clearly very low budget, but yeah, it's one that I really like, and finally it got released, so I was happy about that. This one is Coffee. It's a Jack Hill movie, and I was just talking about my upcoming film, Southern Nightmare. The film is really my tribute to my love of Jack Hill movies, and Coffee is the best of them.
You motherfucking dope pusher!
I just think, in terms of standing the test of time with these old blaxploitation movies, I've watched films like Superfly and The Mac and films like that, and Shaft. I don't particularly really enjoy those films that much, even though I'm a huge blaxploitation lover. But you look back at a film like Coffee, and it just hasn't aged a day, you know. Whereas those other films, they kind of look like they're rough around the edges, they've been made very cheaply. Jack Hill just makes Coffee, it's just so much better than it probably should be. It's so entertaining, and that's what I think really inspires me about him as a filmmaker. Is it's just pure entertainment. You have as much fun watching the movie as they probably did making the movie. Pam Grier is an icon. I did see Tarantino's Jackie Brown before I ever came to watch Coffee, but you know, then managed to go and discover all of her previous films. But yeah, I love that Arrow have done so many Jack Hill movies because he's such an inspirational filmmaker. Thank you so much, Arrow, for having me in the Arrow video store. Yeah, it's been great to look around, see lots of my favorite movies in here, and tell you a few things or two about, you know, my relationship with these movies and my thoughts about them. So yeah, thanks for having me.